taking a trip out to Gulfport Beach this morning. On the way, I'm taking some photos of some interesting trees and some really cool buildings. This is Anderson Lumber and some other buildings that are back here. Off the beaten path, and some very old buildings in Gulfport. I think they're historic, they're so old. There's the dock. And all the famous restaurants out here right on the strip. All painted with different colors. Some little places people live right off the beach in bungalows. And there's the actual beach. Has some trees right on it, which is nice for shade. So I'm out here on Gulfport Beach. Got my family with me. They're relaxing a little bit while I was going to attempt a painting. We'll see if I can do it because I forgot my easel and several other things that I actually really need. Because I moved everything into the SUV when normally I have it in my car, because I'm almost always painting by myself. So I have to decide if what I wanted to paint is actually going to work out. I'll show you what it is. I was going to paint this big tree here, and the water as it comes in was a pretty scene, but now there's so many people doing an exercise class in front of where I was about to paint. This right here was going to be my subject like that. I don't know if I can actually see it anymore. It's beautiful out here. I could just paint the boats on the water, but you know, kind of a typical painting. Could paint the clouds in the sky with just a few boats back there. That would be fine too. But you know, I wanted to do something a little different, so I don't know. I'm kind of torn. I have to paint with everything on my chair because I don't have the easel. So silly. I get so prepared for these things, you don't know what I have to go through just to get out here, and then I forget something so important. Anyway, I'm still deciding for sure if I'm going to do it or not. See all that stuff I had to drag out here? And here's the other side. There's the beautiful dock, which I have painted in the past. Something else that could be painted. You could paint the dock with the boats out there and the light. So there's a possibility. You have to tell yourself, how much beach do you want? Do you want any beach at all? Do you just want all water? Maybe water and a little bit of the dock. Hard to say. So, trying to make up my mind. I'm starting. Crazy, but that's what I'm starting. Let's go to the darks in where the clouds are. Try not to get this all over my chair, if I can help it. I have to sit in it at some point. You can hear the crackling of the wind through a lot of this video. I'll try to keep it as low as possible. Okay, I'll have to finish this at home. I cannot tell you how breezy it is right now. It's trying to blow everything over. I've already spilled stuff everywhere. So anyway, there's my painting so far. I've got the basics in of what I'm looking for.
Well, we're out here, so we might as well enjoy our day. We'll go look for a little restaurant on the other side of the street, right across from the beach.
Might as well take advantage of the beautiful beach and have ourselves a nice lunch out here. Even though we're wind blown, or at least I am, nobody else has enough hair to worry about it.
What hair?
So I'm home now and I'm looking at this painting, and what is bothering me is the person in the chair, in my opinion, is too big. I don't really want them standing out that much. Just like I had to make the boats smaller, I think I have to make this person in this chair smaller, or take them out altogether and find a way to texturize that sand more. So I think it's important when you are painting to try to remember what was it that I really wanted to show in this painting? What made it special to me? And I think in this case, what makes this painting special is the light that comes across the water that shines behind the dock here, and it kind of casts its way onto the sand. At one point I decided to put the lady in that was sitting in the chair, but it just wasn't working out. I put her in too big and she was distracting the whole scene for me. So I took her back out again. And then I was struggling with trying to figure out how am I going to make this sand look like sand looks, which means it's got texture. Sand has texture. And I hate the flat sand. Now I did flat sand in my painting from St. Augustine. You will notice whenever I'm talking and painting, I have a lot of pausing. I have a very difficult time talking and painting, so excuse that. But at any rate, I want some texture in the sand where people walked. So I take and make one spot a little lighter than I really want it, and another spot a little darker than I really want it. And then I come along and use my palette knife to make the texture. Blending the two together. Now there's something right here that I really wanted in this sand, and I don't know if I can really get it in the way it was. But there's like, I guess it must be the workers that are in the park in the morning. They drive their little carts around. And they make these tire tracks, which I think are kind of cool. I'm driving right over my stick here. Whatever it is, probably some kind of a marker to let people know where they're at in the water. I don't know. Sometimes you can't make the mark you want and you go over it so many times, it just will not, but you're trying to be careful. It just doesn't want to do. And then bam, it works and it overworks and you're like, no, I didn't want that much. I don't want the line to be perfect. Over here I'm going to do another one. This is sitting on the edge here, and so it may fall off and you might get to witness a disaster on film. Now I'm trying to make it clear that these are tire tracks. But at the same time, I don't want it to make it look like the sand is going that way. That's kind of hard. Then I'll come back in with my dots just to kind of mess it up a little because people have walked on it. Also, I would like to, if I can, follow along here with a lighter line because that's what happens when the tires dig in. Makes like a little trench. I'm going to be a little more daring right here because I can't really see anything. Better. Okay. I wanted this side darker. Because I want you to see that the sun is coming from the left. And I want you to look over there. There's also some greenery. It's hard to put that in. But this part of the beach here, especially further back off the water, there's some green growing in here. Make the green a little darker over here where I'm trying to make it appear there's more of a shadow. So supposedly we've got footsteps in the sand. And you can go with all different colors. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. And then evaluate it, see what you think. You have to go all the way off the canvas. Don't forget, somebody may choose to frame this in a very strange way. Well, not a strange way, but a different way. And that may give them more of a view of the corners of the painting. So then look at it, tell yourself, is that what I was trying to do? Part of me wants to get a little more white out. And that part of me is getting a little more white out. And lighten the sand with a little bit of sunshine. Don't be frugal with your paint. I have such a hard time trying not to waste. And sometimes it actually is to my detriment. You'll always look at it and go, why didn't I do that brighter right there? Well, because I didn't want to waste paint. Yeah, not good. So, what I'm showing you is that my palette knife is a big help to me here to get the textures that I want in the sand. Otherwise, it doesn't exactly look like sand. Darken that a little. So, you have to go back in and put this little stick back in that you've wiped out. Get your palette knife clean, get your paint on the edge of the knife just a little bit and get in there and put it back in. Sometimes easier said than done. And it has a little shadow. So let me see if I can get that in there. I'm going to lighten this a little tiny bit. Come in here. This has been bothering me. So one last thing I'm going to do, and it may just mess it up right before my eyes. I can't do this too dark because it's far away. But sometimes a palette knife is much easier to use. And then this front dock I'm going to do a little darker. Well, I'm going to use some of my ultramarine blue and a little bit of the burnt sienna because that is closer. Okay. I guess we're going to call that a day. There are no promises that this won't be touched again, but that's pretty much the concept I was trying to get in there. Some of the greenery on the beach, some of the tire tracks, but mostly right here, the light coming through, shining through the clouds,
hitting on top of the sand. A little bit of palette knife to help make the texture. You don't want to overdo texture because texture everywhere becomes monotonous. And once again, the places that have the most texture and the most light contrast to dark, the most detail, those are the places you look. That's your focal point in your painting. I hope that the light is the main attraction here.